Back again, and here we have a M12 spiral flute tap in the centres, or between the centres, on my tap sharpening jig. If you have a look at these taps after 4 or 5 holes in 4340 pre-hard, you can discern that there's a little bit of wear on the rake face of the first 4 teeth. Unusual, very, very unusual. Normally on taps you find the teeth will be folding over here and busted on the crest, but not the case. With this, there's wear inside here, and the wear is almost indiscernible. The first 3 teeth have a very, very small amount of, almost like sandblasting on the face, and the 4th tooth shows very small cratering and also a little bit of pickup. And I used this fellow here, my little low pay 10 times item, to have a bit of a better look. A bit hard with my glasses and my focusing, but yep, you get in there, have a good look, and sure, you can see the damage. I do hope soon to get a USB microscope. They are now available with quite large magnifications for a couple of $100, and hook that up to my laptop. I'll be able to go in for a much better bo peep on these items, and if you can't see what damage has been done to the tap, it's very bloody difficult to repair it. Now, this is an unusual spiral flute tap. I'll zoom out in a little while and I'll show you how I got an approximate flute angle, but it's about 16 degrees. And as it's not too curly, I think we may be able to come in on the Clarkson surface grinder, cantilever hold the tap and just grind that small area in front of those first 3 teeth. This jig, and I'll now zoom out, is one I showed earlier, where you turn the handle to the right and the whole body twists to move the tap in and out from the grinding wheel. Now that only gives radial relief, which is relief behind the cutting edge on the tap, and the damage on this tap is up the rake face, so grinding the back wouldn't give you much of a improvement. Now you can see the protractor in the background that was just placed on top of the tap to give a bit of an idea of what the spiral angle is, and no bloody rocket science. Just I'll pick that up on top, and a quick comparison, and around 16 degrees is where it came out on the scale. This is a really handy tool for this kind of work. You can bring it in reasonably close and get within half a degree of what you're supposed to be expecting with the tool. Okay, we'll move some machines around and then get it up on the Clarkson, and we can have a look what happens there. Hello again, and we're back on the Clarkson grinder, just giving you a little bit of an overview of the setup. It took a little bit of nutting out. As you'll see in a sec, I think I've got the spiral of the flute where I'm going to grind it relatively flat and level. I'm indexing off the collet nut on the workhead. I had to go down from a 150mm diameter wheel to a 100mm diameter to get a bit more clearance. The grinding wheel was going to grind the indexing finger before it got to the tap. So luckily the Clarkson has a swivel table on a swivel base with a rotating head, or angle head, and rotating head. So this took 5 axes to get it right. Probably an easier way to do it, but I just don't know. This is my first go at a spiral flute tap. Put the camera around the other side and bring you back. My macro photography is not so good, but you can see the indexing finger into the spanner groove in the collet nut. That's what I'm indexing from, and you can just pick up a little shiny bit in the flute of the tap at the end, and that's what I'm aiming for, just to take a thou or so off to give it a bit of a polish there. The wheel is an aluminium oxide orange wheel, obviously only touching in a few little places. These wheels are way too hard for this particular operation. They're meant for grinding where you want to keep the form of the wheel. They resist dressing very, very much, but it's all I can get in this small diameter. If I do get more of these taps, I'll try a different attack and pass them across the face of a flared cup wheel, but that's a bit more of a difficult operation I've got to get my head around. Okay, I'll bring this to pieces and bring the tap over to the bench. We can have a closer look. Okay, now we've got the Clarkson grinder running. I always like to run wheels for a minute or so before I start grinding, just in case. Not that I'm a crook, I just like all my working parts to stay how they are. It's been running for a bit, so we'll have a grind. Hallelujah, a few sparks this time. Here's I'm grinding where I don't want to, so I'll go in a little further. Nothing there. Don't worry, it's making me wonder just as much as you. I think we just got a touch there. Yep. And I might go across just a little bit more. Coming rather slowly. Now we're starting to get some music. Come across the funerals now. Down a bit more. Yep, just touching it. Might just lift that up a bit so it gets more hook angle. Not getting one after, we'll come back again. Back again and we'll have another try. That's very close to the desired grind, I think. Just a touch there. Wow. Once more. I think we'll try it at that. Now that the noise has stopped, I'll bring the camera around and give you another view. And look at the tap down on the bench. You can see the blued area from the felt pen, and you can see that I've angled the grind into the flute. I think a total of about 3 or 4 thou taken off, and I only took that much to try and get a reasonably even grind. I think I was off by 1 or 2 degrees, but that should be good enough to at least start to see if the process is worthwhile. An amazingly bright finish from just a 60 grit wheel, and just proves once again that the grit of the wheel is not the only controlling factor to the finish. The amount you impinge the grinding wheel into the workpiece is more of a controlling item. So we'll give that on to Chris. He can have a try on his CNC machine, see if he gets another 3 or 4 holes out of it, in which case my cost of resharpening is going to be damn sight less than the 25 or whatever dollars for a new tap. And as he uses 20 to 30 at a time, that'll be quite a big saving. Okay, that is all for now, and we might get on for a milling operation this afternoon. Bye guys.